I just wanted to start by thanking JD and Alana and the organizers for having me here at DASER. I love coming here. DASER is, as you guys well know, an amazing kind of event for us all to come together. So as JD mentioned, I'm an artist. I run SciArt Center and Magazine, which I'll talk a bit about, and I'm also associated with Rutgers University. But tonight I'm here to talk with you about a means without an end process in science art collaboration. Gut Instinct is an online science and art exhibition which highlights various scientific and artistic investigations into one of today's hottest topics, the microbiome. This show is organized by art theorist and historian Carissa Terranova and microbiologist Dave Wesner as part of their time during SciArt Center's collaborative residency program. Art historian Annie Jackson from Ohio State University wrote, "Gut Instinct is the kind of project those in the art world should be invested in, showing how contemporary art can be both cutting edge and educational while having the potential to reach a wide audience, because in the real world or the virtual one, the only way to get people to understand why art is so essential for the human understanding and experience is to first get them to consume it and confront it themselves." So the following few slides are some images from the show. The artwork included here emphasizes the variety of ways we can harness the microbiome for our own more human desires, where the data images like this one reveal the science behind this new frontier. The microbiome, it's one of the more mysterious aspects of our biology. There's been an exponential increase in the number of publications about the microbiome since about the year 2010. Last week I was reading about the emergence of a field called microbiome forensics, which sounds fascinating and strange. This image right here is from research at the Pacific Northwest National Laboratory, where they're developing a model of the microbial environment inside the gut. This piece is called Microbiome Selfie. It's by artist Francois-Joseph Lapointe, where he created a microbiome selfie after he ate a hamburger. So I don't know where the hamburger is in there, but it's somewhere. This piece is called the Hypersymbiont Salon product range by artist Anna Dimitriou, where she explores how bacterial flora can augment our physical appearances. You may recognize this man as my fellow panelist, Adam Zaretsky. This is a still from his performance, Mutafelch, a DIY biolistic gene gun, which you should ask him about later. And this is Kathy As Bowie by artist Kathy High, where she proposes a fecal microbial transplant as a means of curing Crohn's disease. And in her case, her preferred donor was the then living David Bowie. So the curators, Dave and Carissa, went on to present this exhibition at Emory University's Critical Juncture Conference the following year, and have continued to explore the relationship between things like bacteria behavior and identity politics. You can still view this exhibit online through our website. I would encourage you to do that, sciartcenter.org. There will be a link later on. But what I want to talk about is how such a project comes about in the first place. So cross-disciplinary work and collaborative projects happen when an artist steps into a lab or when a scientist steps into a studio. Pictured here is the biology lab for artists at the School of Visual Arts in New York, where art students can manipulate plants to take on new aesthetic forms, take images under the microscope to explore unseen landscapes, grow slime mold to determine optimum travel paths within a city, and induce genetically modified tomatoes to grow the same protein that beef has. The projects that come out of a lab like this spark discussions about the safety of GMOs, the ethics of creating new life, the overlooked intelligence of single-celled organisms, and generally push the boundaries of what contemporary art is. And a scientist may go into a studio to explore the meaning of their work outside of the grant-fulfilling context of curing cancer or providing DARPA with some new advantage. Here's Dana Simmons, another former SciArt resident who's a neuroscientist at the University of Chicago. And here she's presenting the artwork that she made based on her research in Alzheimer's at the New England Biolab's Passion in Science Awards ceremony. Dana and her residency partner, artist Rochelle Gribble, also created this book, The Trees Inside Our Brain, which is an illustrated guide to the brain that explains and shows everything like why we use mice and neuroscience research to how neurons are born. So I just gave you some specific examples of science-art collaboration, but generally speaking, why should we reach across disciplinary boundaries? Why should we promote science-art collaboration? Collaboration is an increasingly popular concept as our opportunities and problems in this 21st century are becoming more complex. Since both art and science investigate the fundamental questions of our existence and futures, they need to work together to answer these questions, to form a complete picture of our world. I think all of us in this room would agree with that. That we deem art and science as complementary human activities is evidenced well on the Golden Record, where in addition to planetary charts and animal species information and brain waves, we also included Bach and Peruvian wedding songs and Senegali percussion. It's the two sides at the same time. But for most, cross-disciplinary work cannot happen without the scaffold of a collaboration, because while we may know that we need the tools and techniques of another discipline to address a specific issue, it doesn't mean we know how to use those tools or techniques. This has been a trend lately as discipline specialization has made it largely impossible to really be a Renaissance man anymore, so instead we work in collaborative teams. And this image from this graphic is from Mars 1. I love this graphic because it's maybe a picture of our future. Mars 1 is set to land in 2035, and this is a great example of a 21st century opportunity, our expansion into space as a human species, our future. This effort, though, will require multiple disciplines to come together, and Mars 1 knows this. Their selection criteria for being a Mars 1 astronaut is not based on having a degree in engineering or previous experience in space, but rather personality attributes and skills like curiosity, creativity, problem solving, and good teamwork and communication. I really hope they end up with a muralist in the mix, personally, to take care of that exterior decorating. Fingers crossed. But in talking about collaboration, it's easy to place focus on the end product. What was created? What function did it serve? What problem did it solve? In fact, I think the more valuable aspect of collaboration is in the process, and I'd like to dispel the notion that an end product is necessary at all. It's in the process of collaboration that the potential energy between art and science is unbounded, yet to be determined, limitless. And it's the experience of this process which is what you carry forward. Robert Rauschenberg, well known for his experiments in art and technology work, sums up my point well. A good collaboration produces universal thinking. So how do we cultivate this thinking actively and correctly, and what is the result of this mindset? Well, we'll start at the bottom left here. There we go. It has to start with enthusiasm. Let's collaborate. Collaboration is difficult work because when two or more disciplines come together to do something, that something is new. It's never been done before, so it's harder because there's no roadmap. And once you decide to collaborate, having good communication is key. You have to throw out your expectations and jargon. With good communication and open enthusiasm comes good teamwork, where you can take turns leading and following. The good teamwork makes the tough things about collaborating, like funding, logistics, and schedules, a bit easier to navigate. And from this good teamwork is born a shared worldview, and this is when a collaboration will really take off. From here, you may or may not end up with an end product. It all depends on your goals. And this is what we facilitate with SciArt Center through our collaborative residency program called The Bridge that you've seen a few examples from tonight. In our program, we create pairs of artists and scientists based on fitness and support and facilitate a collaboration over the course of 4 months. We put no expectations or rules on our groups. It's literally an experiment for all of us in that I have no idea what each group is going to do, but I can tell you it's never dull. And I'm just going to flip through our batch of residents this year. Our residents span the US, the UK, and Canada. And importantly, our residency is a virtual one. So we give people virtual space to work in instead of physical space, which means that even if you're across geographies, it won't stop you from working together. The virtual space comes in the form of a weekly blog where residents record their process, thoughts, pictures of what they're working on, etc. It's a space for them to really just capture the actual process of working with another person. And ultimately, these blogs will serve as a kind of permanent public archive for the variety of art-science collaborations, because I do believe that each one is unique in its own right. And we also engage in bi-weekly Skype calls to check in on our groups, help them identify problem areas or things they have in common that they might not be seeing because they're too in it. Also, sometimes we have to solve some social problems, because even if you intellectually and artistically overlap with someone, it doesn't mean you necessarily easily get along with them. You have to get along socially as well to collaborate across the arts and sciences. And there are ways to facilitate this. So our groups just started working together at the beginning of September. You can go on our website and follow along their progress. They're already up to amazing things. I've been very impressed so far. Testimonials from our program are along the following lines. The Bridge gave me the opportunity to get out of the normal and expose myself to a more interdisciplinary way of thinking. The Bridge has really inspired me and given me a much broader perspective on my science. The Bridge showed me just how easy and beneficial it is to talk with someone. So if you notice the commonality, they all emphasize the process of being a part of a collaboration rather than any end product, which has a kind of contained shelf life. And just so you know, we're not the only residency program that does this kind of work. SciArt magazine just published a comprehensive list of annual open call science art residencies of all sorts. You can find it at this link. If you need this link later, come find me. I'm happy to send it to you. To conclude, last week, while talking on Skype with one of our resident teams about what they were up to and what they were thinking about, I was talking with Kent Wallace and Jenny Bauer. The topic of perspective came up. Here in front of you is the well-known optical illusion. Do you see the vase in the middle, or do you see the faces on the side? The duality of this illusion describes exactly what happens when you gain the science art perspective. While you may start by seeing only the faces or just the vase, once you see both of them, you can't unsee them. Whether you come from the arts or from the sciences, once you see things from the other perspective, it sticks with you. Once you work across disciplines, you carry that universal thinking forward. Thank you.